Well, hello there. I always find the start of these live streams very underscore is here. Good evening, Matt. How are you? Simon of Jeffries is here as well, saying A up Rob of the Aylesbury. A up Simon of the Barnsley area. Can't remember the exact name of your village. Well, according to this, now no one is watching. So, thank you for those who did watch and comment. And yeah, only joking. Not going anywhere yet. Oh yes. Oh, I did enjoy my jam. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes, Simon. Posing as Norman. We've got a few people there, so do if you are here, do say hello. Hoyland, that's it. Yes, Hoyland. I did know that. I did know that. So yeah, if you are with us and your name is not Simon, then please do say hello. Announce yourself. I've just had a message back from Chasley about tuning an L series diesel engine. I wonder what car that could be for. I shall read that after this live stream with great interest because that's going to make a very nice diesel engined car. Daryl's Travels is here. Good evening, Daz. Saying good evening, Bobbert, from me and Kirsty. I wonder where you are, Daryl. Norman Oswald Butler is here saying, evening there, young man. How's your crumpets? I've been on muesli this week, Norman, so I've not actually had any crumpets, and I haven't found any in my crumpet holder. So, yeah, I'll have to remedy that next week, obviously, and go out and buy masses of crumpets and slather them with butter. Did my eyes just deceive me, or did I just see a heart floating up from Norman's comment? Which I've not seen before in here, so that's obviously a new feature that I wasn't aware of. Norman Butler goes on to say, "No crumpets, that's not good enough." Well, I just saw the hearts again. Something's going on that I've not seen before on this live stream chat type thing. There we are. Sorry, Norman. We must do better with crumpets. Did I say Simon? I mean Norman. Ooh. Obviously, Norman and Simon are completely different people. So what's everyone been up to? What kind of day have you had? I've had a fairly busy week so far with work. I've had to, do work, which means I've been busy. Busy day tomorrow as well. So I'm not going to make this a long one because I've got to get an early night so I can get my little bottom out of bed in the morning. Norman's off again. When I was a lad, you couldn't move for crumpet. Crumpet here, crumpet there. So much chasing crumpet, and of course, Norman is referring to the bread-like thing with holes in. That some people with that condition where you can't look at things with holes in type top. Yeah, that's a crumpet. Daryl's Travels hates his job and can't wait to start my new one, which I heartily congratulate you for getting this new job. It'll be good. Yeah, no, I've not got much. Obviously, I had two dignitaries visit me on Saturday. Brought me some gifts. One of which is this charming Chewbacca Lego figure keyring, which I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with, along with some beer, including some damn beer. Matt, thank you. Some interesting European beverages, which I shall sample. Some lovely whiskey from Simon. So yeah, and we had an enormous chocolate cake as well, which if you watch Simon's channel, which hopefully you do, Project MGTF, massive shout out to Project MGTF, then you'll have seen the chocolate cake. We've actually got another channel on tonight, of course, because Daryl's travels. Daryl's travels isn't actually his surname. His it'd be a strange surname to have, Travels, but Daryl's Travels is actually another Aylesbury-based YouTube channel, mainly shorts, and that doesn't mean he takes videos of people wearing shorts. But yeah, do check out Daryl's Travels as well. Simon from Projet MJTF says new jobs are yay. And Simon then says, why doesn't Han Solo smoke? I don't know. Because he has Chewbacca. I've heard this joke somewhere before, and I can't think from whom I heard it. But perhaps that person will reveal themselves very soon. If you are just joining us, then please do say hello, including Ross, Dinosaur Dad, who joins us from the other side of the earth in Australia, where it must be an absolutely godforsaken time of day. I'm guessing around 6 a.m. Joe Carpenter is here. Good evening, Joe. With a question, bang, straight in. No hello, no small talk, like that, direct to the point. Joe Carpenter says, why am I so jealous of the Diesel Streetwise? Are you asking me, or is it a rhetorical question upon which you're about to breathe forth illumination, if one can do that? I will update you on the Streetwise, which hasn't really got much of an update, but Daryl's Travels tells us about his YouTube channel, saying a lot of work in progress. Once the new job starts, the content will be more and better. Thank you. I do not doubt that one little bit. Simon from Project MGTF says, I challenge people to tell me a better wheel color than bronze. And the reason that Simon says that is because Henrietta Pye, his Rover 75 Tourer, 115 brake horsepower diesel, he has recently given it bronze wheels. Joe Carpenter says a fact and a question. I think because the L series, the diesel engine that went in the Streetwise 25, ZR 45, and therefore ZS. For those of you who are non-MG Rover people, I mean the Rover 25, 45, MG, ZR, ZS. So they have the L series diesel engine, which is quite an agricultural sounding lump that is based on the Perkins Prima engine, which Rover had used in the R8, so 2 whatever the diesel R8s were, 218 and 418 maybe. So yes, it was a pretty rudimentary engine, standard tune, putting out 101 brake horsepower. God, I'm really getting into geeky facts here. But with a stupid amount of torque, so like 240 newton meters of torque, something like that. So yeah, I think it's the fact you can whack the power up to 160. Obviously, you've got to do other bits to it as well, which I'm going to do to mine. And the torque goes rocketing north of 300. It's ridiculous. You could pull trees up with it. So yeah, Rover Streetwise. So you've got a rare car within a rare engine. There was that many made with the L series. I think a lot of the Streetwise are 1.4s, and they're fine for that, of course. But yeah, so with my Streetwise, I'm going to. I've got an exhaust which Simon's going to collect. Actually, I've got 2 exhausts. I tell you, I've got 2 exhausts. I won 2 eBay auctions unexpectedly, and being a good eBayer, I thought, "No, I'm gonna get both exhausts," because I've then got a spare Rover R3 platform exhaust, to both stainless steel, and they're both good prices. So I'm putting a Yan Speed or Jan Speed, nice free flowing exhaust on the My Streetwise, and then it'll have a MAF bypass, I think, and an EGR delete, along with some how shall I put this in case any MOT testers are watching or listening? Uh, yeah, we'll fettle the catalytic converter. So yeah, but they are yeah. Only wanted a diesel one. One came up, magical, brilliant, got it. Need to start doing some work to it now. Simon says back, Joe Carpenter, because you are a wise being. Yep. Uh, Simon also says not as good as a 216S. And Simon says that, of course, because he's just acquired a 216S project car called Jennifer Juniper. So if you want to find out about that car, what he's just got, and its rusty bits and broken bits, then check out his channel. And then Simon says 115 brake horsepower. Going back to Henrietta Pie, his 115 brake horsepower Rover 75 Tourer, which is diesel, of pure evil and soup. I hope you haven't got engine soup, because that's a new thing that Norman could get his teeth into. If Norman indeed has teeth, I'm not convinced he has. Joe Carpenter has got a little 160 express van, and the thought of having a diesel streetwise as a daily is intriguing. What a driveway that would be! A 160 express van. So for those of you who don't know, the MGZR, which is based on the Rover 25, same shape as Rover Streetwise, platform, etc., etc. Yeah, the MGZR, and they did do an express van in, I think, all the models. So you got the 160, you got a very fast van, basically. That's great fun. But having that and a streetwise on your driveway, that is well, earth shattering. Oswald Butler says, I saw a hairy man say that a car called Civic was like a modern Rover 25. I think he was on drugs of something. Yeah, it's kind of related. They are kind of related. They are, and I've taken a Civic out. In fact, I've taken Simon's Civic out in the last few days, and they are. I think I don't know if I did it in that video or another video, but one of my videos that's coming up talks about. No, it was my Rover 25 video last week. It talks about the relationship between Honda and Rover. So in some ways, the Civic, the first Rover 200 was based on a Honda Ballard, which was a Civic with a boot, basically, it was like Honda's version of the Vauxhall Belmont or Ford Orion. So there is a tenuous link between Norman, between the Civic and the Rover 25. Joe says it's so interesting that these little streetwise cars were hated they were back in the day, yet now they are pretty much impossible to find, and more people seem to be wanting them. That's because of the campaign that we're beginning to bring the streetwise to the agenda. And that's why 2024 will be the year of the streetwise. We've got a logo and everything. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, I think there always seem to be some 1.4 petrol streetwises around. But yeah, I've only seen 2 L series advertised this year. I say 2. I've seen 3 adverts, but the one I bought was sold twice in the space of about 6 weeks, from the town I live in. So the car went from my town in mid Buckinghamshire all the way to Neath, nearly at Swansea, and then I brought it back. And that was within about 6 weeks, and it had I was its third owner in 6 weeks, but a lovely young man called Tom, um, bought it for Aylesbury, and I'm in touch with him, and he has popped into these live streams now and again. Yeah, just keep. I just set up loads of alerts, so like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Auto Trader, etc., etc. And I was just all over those streetwises like a cheap suit. Um, where did we get to? Oh, gone off on a streetwise based ramble, and what better ramble to have? Um, Everything Cars is here. Good evening. Good evening to you. Norman Butler says soup. I don't do foreign foods. No, no. I mean, it is. I'm guessing it's continental cuisine, Norman. So stick to your bread and coal. Joe Carpenter has got a bloody ZTT diesel as well. I think I need help. No, because you're in fact by having a ZTT diesel, as I do. And if you don't know, Joe, my ZTT diesel is broken because it has no clutch. But it will have a clutch, hopefully, within this year. This year, of course, being the year of the Tourer. So having a bloody ZTT means you're a bloody participant in the bloody year of the Tourer, which is bloody marvellous. Simon says hello to everything cars. Robson Rover Repair is here. Another channel, another excellent channel. Hello, you hairy, handsome chow. I think you mean chap. Oh, you did mean chap. You put that in the following, but you can call me a chow if you want. It's fine. Well, hello to you too. You almost as hairy. No, I think you're hairier than me. Actually, you actually got natural full head of hair. Colin, good evening. How are you? Really good to have you here. Everything Carl says hello back to Project MGTF. Pingu Concord is here. Good evening, sir. How are you? And he says, well, hello there, Sir Rob. And hello there to you too, Pingu. I hope you are well and happy this week. I am well and I am happy. Thank you. And I hope you are also well and happy this week. And I had a topic and I can't remember what I've done with it. No, I had a topic and I forgot to write it down and it's gone. And I just thought of it about 5 minutes before this live stream and it's just completely gone. So we shall just ramble in a rambly way. Pure Evil is here. Good evening, Adam. How are you? Nice that you're here again. It's brilliant. Simon asks Colin how the Tourers are, which of course Simon's, very much the sort of brand ambassador of Year of the Tourer. Yachts, hashtag yachts. Sorry, yacht 23. And Colin's Tourers are breaking his heart. And that tourists shouldn't do that. They should cradle you. Dinosaur Dad says plenty of the Ballard still floating around here. Sadly, only 75s and MGF TF to choose from. Yeah, it's funny how so you didn't get the whole. You didn't get loads of the whole thing down there. But it's interesting. The Ballards are still in Oz. I guess it's a good climate for them cars. And Norman off the back of that says, oh dear, suddenly I feel like these people here know about Rovers. I have souls to educate, because Norman is of course a former Rover mechanic. And some people do argue that he's potentially the sole reason why MG Rover stopped trading in April 2005. Simon's 75 doesn't have a clutch either. Does that mean it's broken? Yeah, it's that way. I mean, the fact you've got Sports Park in your car is, mystifying, to be quite honest. I know you've highlighted Sports Neutral, but it was Sports Park that got my pulse racing somewhat. Simon and Colin discussing Colin's immobile or immobile. I don't know which word he meant there. Obviously immobile because it's not moving. 75, and Joe comes in saying it's resting. Simon asks a question: if the Star Wars characters drive Rover slash MGs, who would drive what? I think Jar Jar would have a City Rover. Would Jar Jar fit in a City Rover, or would he kind of have? Would it have just one seat in the back, and his kind of foldy bits would go out of the windows? Oh dear, I've now got a horrible picture in my head of a City Rover. Jar Jar Binks is fine. That's a good, and I'll be interesting. That's a good question, Simon. Simon's given me a topic rather than me coming prepared, like a professional person. But what do you think Star Wars characters would drive? What would Princess Leia drive? I think she'd have a monogram. I do. I think she'd have a monogram. Um, yeah. Well, maybe she'd be ferried in the back of a Rover 75 limousine or Vanden Plas. Just a thought. Han Solo, he'd be a ZR 160, ZS 180, ZT. I think he'd have the 260, wouldn't he? Yeah, Han Solo, MGZT 260. Yeah, yeah, and then if he'd have a dreadnought conversion, so he could go into hyperspace, because that's what a dreadnought conversion does apparently. But I'd be interested to hear other viewers' comments on if the Star Wars characters drove Rover stroke MGs, who would drive what? Simon thinking Jar Jar would have a City Rover, and I'm sorry to have to use that language at all, regardless of the time of day. I'm thinking Han Solo MGZT 260, Princess Leia, obviously being ferried around in the back of a Rover 75 limousine. But if you disagree with me or Simon, then put it in the comment thing, Dewberry. Jolly Juju is here saying, "Yo yo yo, what's up, Rob of the B&B? Peace out, Juju. Peace out." Colin says Jar Jars would have the 4x4 Metro off-road yellow concept thing. Oh God, I've forgotten about that. Yeah, that's an interesting take, Colin. Very interesting take. Sport, yes, Simon. Your Henrietta has Sports Park, which I did point out in my review video. If you watch back, Sports Park, exhilarating, absolutely exhilarating. Ross asks, any luck on the Star Wars headlining? I've not looked, and I haven't tasked my researchers with any further lookings. But I've not given up. I'm thinking about the mechanical side of the Streetwise at the moment. So new ECU if you missed it, new ECU, free flowing exhaust, MAF bypass, EGR delete, fettled catalytic converter, and we will be roaring around in the Streetwise. But then I'll once I get the mechanics sorted out, I'll do the headlining, and I will do a full video on a headlining because it's got to be done. It's a rite of passage, I think. Pingu says Princess Boaty Leia in an MGF. Oh dear. Would her buns actually, if Princess Leia was in an MGF, would the roof actually touch her buns? And I mean the buns on her head from episode 4, which is the first Star Wars film for those that don't do Star Wars. Norman Butler knew a fella called Jar Jar when he was at Longbridge. He drove a dark blue Ford Orion. I didn't like him. He spent too much time talking to Sharon about his allotment. Poor old Norman. Was he a bit of a gardener, Norman? So Colin says Leia would drive an MGTF monogram in glacial white and the number plate that said daddy issues. Yeah, she got those. Ross says Obi-Wan drives a Rover Metro, automatic, of course. Yeah, older Obi-Wan, definitely. The Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan would definitely be driving a Metro automatic, um, with those gloves that aren't they're kind of, I don't know, they look like they've got like a weaved back so that lets the air in. Yeah, I can imagine Alec Guinness or Obi-Wan Kenobi driving in those gloves. Yeah, yeah. Um, but Colin says Obi-Wan seems like a guy who would drive a Rover 216 GTI Honda engined motor. Yeah, could be. Yeah, he has that Rover badge, but he wants that reliability of. Oh, sorry, he wants that free reviness and lovely induction noise that a Honda D series engine makes. Um, because obviously all engines that went into the 200s are reliable. Um, and Simon likes both of those assertions. Chewbacca in an MGZR commerce, keeping it real daily. Yeah, yeah, can see him in one of those, waving his blaster out the window. There he is. There's Chewie. Can you see him? That sounds like Jimmy Savile. Um, uh, Simon wonders if I can get grey headlining with the Lotus symbol really small on it. I think if you pay enough money, you can probably get anything. Um, I'm told. But yeah, getting. I did. So I know there's someone out there, and it's either on YouTube or they were selling the car and they had really good photographs. There was a ZS 180 trophy blue, so not nondescript, but quite run of the mill in terms of exterior color. But they had a Marvel headlining, and that looked banging. It looked brilliant. So I'm sure it can be done. You probably need to go back and find that if it's on YouTube. That car, if it's on eBay, I've got no chance. Um, Norman said, "Did someone say buns? Norman likes touching buns." Um, Moving on, Mustard's Codfather ZS is definitely Darth Vader's. Um, is that the Mark II 120? Is it a 120 they got? Mark II 120? I'm so out of I'm so out of touch, not up to date with viewing people's videos because it's summer. It's when it's if I'm not making a video, I'm not sitting watching YouTube. I'm kind of out. Well, I'm doing quite a lot in the garden actually, which is quite nice. Yeah, and it will look better when I've got some more weeds pulled up. Excuse me. Simon says my 216 engine reliably drops its water. Is your 216 is a K series though, Simon, isn't it? Have you got a corroded something corroded or snapped at the front? Either a pipe or something going into the radiator, maybe? I don't know. Excuse me. One moment. Little slurp of water. A slurpette. Pingu Concourse says C3PO would drive a Maestro with the talking dash, chatting away. He would, wouldn't he? And be all, camp and kind of indignant if something offended him. And Simon says Pingu is good at this. Yes. Colin says, I think we can all agree, Vader would drive a pearl black MG ZT 260 SE, but a Mark II because he's truly evil. Good call. Good call. Underscore Matt, good evening to you too. I am well. Hello, Rob, he says, and I say hello, Matt. As does Adam. Um, everyone's saying hello to Matt and Adam. Hello, Adam and Matt. Hey, Matt. Pingu says hashtag just jamming. That's Norman's song, I reckon. The 120 has revealed its water leak. Right. Matt says, did someone say yachts 24? Already, yeah. Already we've done yachts 23. Yachts 24. Haven't actually done Yo 25 yet. And if anyone knows what hashtag Yo 25 means, then whack it in the comments, because we'll see how clever you are then. Simon's 216 needs a proper looking over. I'm going to take you outside and give you a proper looking over. Chances are there is a leak, and that's why it overheated and did its gasket. Bloody K series doing this. Yours is a K series, isn't it? Doing their gaskets. Mark is here. Bad Books. Good evening, all. What's happening? What's happening is we are imagining if Star Wars characters drove an MG or a Rover, which one would they drive? And so far, we've had Princess Leia in a TF. We've had Darth Vader driving a pearl black MG ZT 260 SE Mark II, and all sorts. So if you got an idea what Star Wars character would drive which Rover or MG, whack it in the comments, because it's hard hitting nonsense. Yeah, we've had Obi-Wan Kenobi driving a Rover Metro, and I added that he'd be wearing those driving gloves that are very soft and have like a almost web for their backs. Oh, blimey, these comments are now flying and I can't keep up with them. Ross is watching this, then bed, then boaty, work and wait. Yeah. Everyone's saying hello to one another. Underscore is refusing to watch the new film, but I'm still claiming Indiana Jones to be a streetwise driver. Okay. So we're keeping with our John Williams scored music score, that is, films. But Matt has pitched in with Indy being a streetwise driver, rugged off-roader, rugged on-roader, off-roader, rugged explorer. It's in the it's like basil and tomatoes, or I don't know, strawberries and cream. It works. Colin guesses as to what 2025 is. No, year of the by saying year of the thong 25. It could be in some circles. But no, Yo 25 is year of the 25. Just condensed. Norman says my favorite tune is something called the Longbridge Shuffle. It's the noise we all made as we went on strike. How utterly charming. Thank you, Norman, for sharing that. I mean, that's something many people wouldn't have known. Pingu then says, how about R2D2 canning it around in a Rover Mini Cooper sports pack with attitude? Yeah, he could do, and he ends up flipping it, and he's kind of upside down going, and then gets out of it magically. Yeah, I can imagine that. And as can Simon, Simon goes yes to Pingu. Colin has got a free viewing of the new Indiana Jones movie. I walked out after an hour, even when it was free. Indiana is dead. Is he? Oh my goodness! I don't need to watch it now, so that saves me oodles of time. Simon says Jabba would have an SD1 that was falling to bits, a bit like the sail barge they took out over the Sarlacc pit. Unless Jabby is someone else. Is there another character called Jabby? Don't think so. Mark thinks Chewbacca would drive a P6. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Matt says, plus, I bought a fedora for the parcel, so I'm financially committed now. A fedora on the parcel shelf for Streetwise sounds magnificent. But then Simon, so Mark thinks that Chewie would drive a P6. Simon thinks that Lando would be a P6. No, I don't see Lando. I see Lando in do you know? Actually, I think he'd be in an SD one as well. But I think he'd be in the Vitesse Twin Plenum. I think. And for those of you who've watched the kind of spin-off movies of Star Wars, of course, you could have it so it's spun so that Han Solo blags the SD1 Vitesse Twin Plenum off or wages it with Lando and wins it off him that way, and that becomes his Millennium Falcon. I don't know. I'm just working with it now. CP3PO and R2 would have a reliant Robin, surely. They could, except the brief was MG or Rover, Matt. But you may not have been here for that, so I do apologise. But that is a bit, that's like comedy duo-esque, isn't it, to have a reliant Robin? Ross says Yoda. Yeah, what would Yoda drive? Told you I did. Head gasket gone has his. Daryl's travels says R2D to Citroen C2. Yeah, but again, it's not an MG or Rover, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Pingu says Mandalorian would have to settle for a blue city rover from the scrappers due to budget constraints. Mandalorian's got quite a nice ship though in the third and I've just finished the third series. Yeah. Barrel scraping maybe comes to mind. But I can't believe we've had City Rover mentioned twice on this live stream tonight. That's utterly shocking. And I don't think that a Tata is an MG or a Rover. So we have to find something else for the Mandalorian to drive. Can't be a Tata. Adam asks Simon if he's had his 1.6 running, or you wait and check things like hoses and head gaskets. And Simon gets back to him about that. Pingu pities the fool who don't drive Streetwise. It's all about the Streetwise. There are at least 3 Streetwise owners on this live stream. Colin, do you have a Streetwise? And Adam, you haven't got one. Yeah. Any other Streetwise owners? Do tell us, because we're trying to build a data. I found another Streetwise today in a village called Hook Norton in North Oxfordshire, where I was working. So I'll be making a return visit to give them a special brochure outlining the program of events during 2024, the year of the Streetwise. Anyway, back to these comments. Oh, what have I done? I've realised I'm still in top chat. I'm got to get used to all these settings that one has. Where did we get to? Robson, Colin Rob's Rover Repair says Yoda would drive a BRM. That works. It's small and green like him, so it's a fit. red leather, like his Jedi Master's couch. Brilliant. We've got another pearl from Norman here. So grab hold of your seats. I once went to watch a film, 1984, I think it was called. It was lovely. Made me made me miss working at Longbridge. So many similarities. Lovely, Norman. That's that again. These little insights into the Longbridge world that most of us wouldn't even know unless we get someone like Norman Butler come into our lives, which you all now have. And he may come into your bedroom later this evening. Who knows? You just don't know with Norman. Matt says, no, I was late tonight. Shitty Rover. Yes, please. Yeah, I don't really want to mention. I don't want to do a Joseph Lloyd and embargo certain fuel types or cars, but yeah, City Rovers. I'm not gonna. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to soften and suddenly go, oh, I've got to have a Tata Indica or whatever it's called. Anyway. Comments had jumped again. Pingu says, hence no budget left. Yeah, scraping the bloody barrel. Bad Book says, Ben Kenobi, maybe a P5, as I saw Alec Guinness in south of France in a Bentley Turbo. Yeah, that's a fit for Alec Guinness. Again, I think driving gloves with Alec Guinness or Obi-Wan. I really think driving gloves. Colin says Mandy would drive one of the Australian market V8 cars that most don't know about. Are you thinking which was it? The Austin 3-litre ended up getting a V8 or something like that, but it was called a Leyland. Something I can't remember. I know there's one. I know of one. Oh dear! For people who love or hanker after a Streetwise, then I'm about to read out something that's nigh on pornographic. Colin from Robson Road Repair says, sold my Streetwise van last year. Need another Streetwise van. Isn't that probably the epitome of what an R3 should be? I don't know. Colin, do tell us, was it a diesel? Was it an L series Streetwise van? Because certain people in this chat will get very excited. Mandalorian, Matt says Mandalorian would probably drive an MG. Oh, good call. MG Montego. Yeah, an older ship, but one that's necessarily fast. Ross says P76. Leyland P76. Was that the... I can't think. Is it the Austin 3-litre body or is it the Maxi body? It's one or 1800 body. I'm thinking of that shape, but maybe it's not one of that shape of car. You know what I mean? That line, that the Austin 1100, 1300, yeah, the Maxi, even the Allegro was that same, yeah, really old-fashioned saloon shape. Yush, Miss Moneypenny. But yeah, I do like the thought of Mandalorian in an MG Montego. But someone tell me about the P76 because I'm sure that's the Leyland that was an Austin. It was sold as an Austin over here. Adam says I'm a Rover 50 owner. You have the numbers together, right? Yeah, absolutely. Your car, your numbers as well. Pingu says controversial Picard in P6 tobacco leaf, of course. So Pingu's branched off into Star Trek, which is fine. Other people have branched off with other films like Indiana Jones driving a Streetwise. I can see that. Matt can see it. Matt says that was a nice looking one today. Yeah, it was a what color was it? I didn't stop for long because I was trying to get to an appointment. It was a copper leafy, night fiery shade. Can't remember exactly which one it was. But yeah, it looked really clean. 54 plate from memory without looking at the photograph. But yeah, I'll be going back to this building site quite a lot. So I shall make sure that the owner of that car knows who I am and who I represent. Yachts 24. Um, Colin says Dino Dad gets it. Yeah, boy. So that's obviously going back to the Leyland P76 that Ross mentioned a minute ago. We have our visitor from the United States here, Stephen S. Paul, saying, "Hello, children. Hope all is well in your little kingdom. All is well in our little kingdom this evening, I think. I can't hear any screams, which is good. And good evening to you also, Stephen S. Paul." Um, and as Simon says, hello there. Simon, controversially perhaps, says, "I would, in all honesty," and to say this, you have to be very honest, "have a City Rover if it had a drift spec spoiler, no suspension, and fat alloys." Okay. Yeah. And you wouldn't even need other people to laugh at that. You would be laughing yourself every time you got in it. People saying hello to one another. Colin gets back to us about his Streetwise. It was a silver diesel 5-door Streetwise, heavily modified with a full van conversion in the rear, 220 turbo seats, 282mm brakes with the Accord calipers, SDI, that's the injectors from the better Rover diesel engine, Rover 200 SDI, map, decat, whole lot. Sounds absolutely bloody lovely. Simon says there used to be an MG Montego Turbo, I think, near my nan's that said Porsche Eater on its bonnet. Yeah. I've seen a couple of MG Maestro turbos this year, but I don't think I've seen a Montego turbo in the flesh. Isn't it? Isn't it? Oh no, it's the 40th birthday of the Maestro. Is it not the 40th birthday of the Montego as well? Right, we get into more of these comments. So Ross says, so the Maxi was heavily modified with a 6-cylinder and called the Kimberley. The infidel tested one while down here. Yes. Know the car you mean. Because we need to get them a sticker. We do. The people in North Oxfordshire will be getting a Yachts 24 sticker once we've ordered them. Excuse me. Pingu says, surely Indiana Jones would drive a Mark 1 Freelander Safari spec. Good call. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But then Matt says, no, Indiana would be chased, CHASTE, by someone in the Freelander. Could be. And then appropriately, maybe, speaking of chasing, Norman Butler says, did you know Streetwise wasn't the first name they picked? Didn't know that. They were gonna use Road Smart Car, but someone beat them to it. Well, Norman, thank you for that nugget of information. Simon laughs at the name Kimberley, but yeah, Leyland P76 Kimberley, wasn't it? But then it says, I suppose it's no worse than VW Sharon. Nothing's worse than VW Sharon. Simone is here. Good evening. Excuse me. Simone is here. Saying hi, peeps. Hi, Simone. How are you? And Simon greets her also. And Pingy says, well, hello there, Simone. And yeah, hello there from me also. Everyone's saying hello to Simone. Well, I'm going to just sit back and relax for a moment. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can Simon and I can do the joint live stream. I've had a few issues with the internet and this StreamYard software, so we'll try and do another joint live stream really soon. Yeah, I just need to sit quietly and work out various IT things that I'm not so good at, and then I'll be better, and then my channel will be better, and it'll be, anything I can do to improve my own skills is a good thing. Um, Simone says VW Tracy. Was there one? I can well believe there was. Norman compliments Simone's car. Um, Colin comes up with a suggestion by saying, "Beard man, we need to do a mega stream with a few of us at once." Lol. Simon from Project MGTF is the man to ask because he's worked out this StreamYard, and I think Simone's used it as well. This StreamYard, modern StreamYard software that the young folks are using. Yeah, I just think for some reason mine wouldn't work when we tried it the other day. So yeah, need to get my head around that. But yeah, good idea to have like a mashup live stream at some point. Good. Can you imagine it? Everyone would be talking at once. Um, Pingu says, any news on the Bram mobile this week? Bram has not had one inquiry. TF's getting inquiries, and I've got someone coming to view Friday, I think, Saturday. But yeah, the Bram is not getting a nibble. But Bram has been out without spoiling Simon's content. Simon took Bram for a good thrashing last weekend. So yeah, so Bram's I drove Bram as well that day, and Bram's driving fine. Just no one loves him enough to come and buy him. It's so sad. Simone's got some bits for Pinky today, which is excellent. Colin says StreamYard I wonder, would my ancient PC run it? It's literally so old now. Philip Schofield wouldn't be interested in using it. It's yeah. I mean, it must be at least. Oh no, I better not say that. Yeah, but it's probably at least like a teenage computer, I'm sure. Simon would have Bram in a heartbeat if he wasn't skint. Simone says StreamYard is great. Yeah, I get the impression that StreamYard isn't going to be sucking your megabits through your gig of RAM, or whatever Simon just said. So yeah, we should give it a go. We can always test it sometime. Ross would take the V8 once fixed if shipping wasn't too expensive. Yeah, the V8 engine and gearbox is on the floor. The box is off, but we are going to change the clutch plate. So it's not knackered, but it's got some pits on it. So while it's all out, it makes sense to do the clutch plate as well. So yes, hopefully 260 will be fixed fairly soon. Pingy would buy Bram if he did not have too many Rovers already. Can you have too many Rovers? Yes, I've got too many Rovers. Pingy's got too many Rovers. So it is possible to have too many Rovers. And how did Colin miss the V8 is broken? Yeah, so when I saw you at Pride of Longbridge and got home safely in the V8, I took it to the body shop to get the nasty Lacapili wing fixed, painted, and that was all sorted. It looked amazing. Went to pick it up, and the guys went, "Oh, we really struggled to move the car just then." So I got in it thinking I was going to drive it home, and yeah, started up beautifully. Put my foot on the clutch, and there was no resistance whatsoever. Wouldn't go into gear. So yeah, cylinders have gone. Everything's gone. V8's done 200 miles in probably 2 years, and that's one trip basically. So yeah, but hopefully very soon. So the plan with my fleet is so V8 will get fixed up. I will enjoy it maybe for a one drive because that's all I can. That's all most people can afford. No, drive it a little bit and then get that one sold. And then the ZTT will take its place on the ramp to have its clutch fixed. Yeah, I'm going to be spending a little bit of money on clutches this summer, but it's worth it. The ZTT is worth it because it's solid, and it's pearl black, so it looks lovely. Um, Matt says, yeah, yeah, I said Simon should do a live stream with you on Sunday from your two different locations. Suggested, not said. It's a good suggestion. Yeah, because I'm in Gaydon on Sunday and Simon is somewhere. And you did tell me where in your message yesterday, but I've forgotten. You're you're at Wortley Show, aren't you? You've got the Wortley Show on Sunday. So we could, yeah, it's a good suggestion, Matt. We have done I've done live streams. Simon and I have done live streams together. I'm pretty sure Simon's done them on his own when we've been at these shows. And you've got to have an absolutely decent signal. And the thing I've noticed with this, where you got sort of 5G and 4G overlapping, phone calls drop out when you go from even though the signal you got a continuous signal, but it's what you're moving from 5G to 4G or vice versa. Your phone call drops, your internet drops. So yeah, that I think whoever's in charge of this 5G, Mr. 5G, needs to sort things out. Really, quite frankly, it's not on. But yeah, I think as long as the signal checks out, it's a good shout. I think if the signal's no good, it's not worth doing it. Because I know our video from the motorist was very grainy. Particularly when we're trying to talk about colours of cars, like especially monograms, and trying to get people to identify them. They're like, I would identify that colour, but it's pixelated. Colin's wife says he definitely has too many rovers. Don't they all? Simone says yes. We all need to do a collaboration on StreamYard. We do. It's a good idea. Norman Butler says, I remember the first time I drove a V8. Turns out it was a V12, but was missing 4 cylinders. That's very interesting, Norman. That's very good. Colin says we'll get a WhatsApp going here and get planning. Good idea. Simon says joint live stream, but not a joint live stream. I don't think that's allowed on YouTube. Simone's going to Powderham Castle on Saturday. Matt says, well, that's debatable there, Simon, about joint live stream. Simon says Wortley, yeah, I thought it was Wortley. No StreamYard app though, so couldn't do a mobile thing. Because we tried to do the joint live stream using the YouTube app, and it doesn't work, or it didn't send the invite or whatever it's supposed to do. Could be a beta, and Mr. Google or Mr. YouTube, who works on these things, is yet to do it. Stephen S. Paul says, is 23 still the year of the Tourer? Oh, yes. And as Matt says, indeed, it's 2023, year of the Tourer. So I wanted to do a mini review, and I did a mini review recently, which I think came out yesterday or this morning. Recently on YouTube. And I even chose a mini that was a mini Tourer. Just for 2023 year of the Tourer. And Simon happily confirmed to Stephen S. Paul that yes, it is. Simone says, and TC is in for a pre-MOT. Oh, pre-MOT. That's always a good thing to do, but also one is slightly nervous. It's a natural feeling when one takes an old car for an MOT, even though it's not compulsory, but it's sensible to take something that you're going to drive on the public road near people for an MOT. Where did we get to? Pingu has the sticker to prove it. Year of the tour, yes, because Pingu has been given stickers by Project MGT, but none by me. We will right this wrong, Pingu. We will right this wrong. Dinosaur Dad asked a question at Colin saying, is it Colin or Column, that Irish name? I'll let Colin answer that. Simon says, Jack managed to do a joint YouTube stream at Beards and Bang. He did. He did. But was that on StreamYard or the YouTube software? Colin says Colin, because that's his name, but most people just call me Robbo or Robson now, lol. Simone says Pinky is a sports tourer, so that works. Absolutely. So doesn't MGBGT, which is obviously a Grand Tourer, qualify for Year of the Tourer, Simon, as the kind of arbiter of matters pertaining to Year of the Tourer? And Simon did get the YouTube joint live streaming service to work. Jack was all over it, or that shit, as Jack says there. Jack's a cat. Louis a cat. Louis was here, but he's disappeared. I've got some new dining room chairs, which are very comfortable, and he likes all of them, all 5, in fact, which is great. Stephen S. Paul says, and we have to sit back in our chairs at this one because it's always an evocative message from Stephen S. Paul about this time on a Wednesday night. Because we now have at work 2 of the 1995 BMW M5 Tourers here at work, only 891 of these were built, and these 2 are among the 26 imported into the US. These 2 came from Los Angeles. So you've got 2 of a very rare car in your work. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Were they bought? Were they are you going to sell them? Are they going to be scrapped? Heaven forbid. Do tell us. Colin says, I've an EP emergency parking tourer. Now that's thanks to the glorious warning of an exploding automatic box. Oops. Now that sounds messy. Yeah. Simon answers about the MGBGT qualifying. An MGBGT qualifies for nothing except frustration and heartache. Oh, that poor old boy who's got one. Yeah, poor old boy. Matt says arthritis helped me quit cigarettes. It's called joint replacement therapy. I thank you, or Matt thanks you actually for that one. Colin says MGBGT qualifies the driver for Viagra in the NHS, to be honest. Fair enough. Matt says it's a terrible joke. I'm still trying to work with it. You've got to work with it. And Simon says, so who's buying Fanny then? I assume you mean a car called Fanny. That can't be a question to some. Who's got? Has Boaty got a car? Surely it must be. Someone must. If a car's got a name like Fanny, it's got to be Boaty's. And has he sold it, or is Simon just saying he's one of us going to buy it? Matt said, and says, orange Rocky bars make great straws for hot chocolate. I have eaten one of those Rocky bars, and they're lovely, but I haven't done a hot chocolate straw type thing yet because it's not really hot chocolate time of year. Although, the last 2 days it feels like someone has turned the heating off outside because it's gone from being quite muggy and evening or warm night. But Betty Swallocks type weather to quite chilly. I know someone who's put their heating on. They're quite frankly bonkers. But yeah, it's yeah, hot could be hot chocolate weather. I digress. I'm thinking about lovely Rocky bars. They are delicious. Um, must be Boaty's car. Bad book saying they're about to rush putting Fanny up for sale. Um, Pingu asks about have you tried sucking it on a Kit Kat, Matt? This is relating to uh, sucking hot drinks through chocolate biscuit bars. 13 videos about a car called Fanny, and it's still not sold. I tell you, I'm well behind on watching videos. So um, Simon clarifies for me. Fanny, the black MGF boat he has, another for sale video tonight. Hope someone gets it and looks after it. As long as it's not the same person that's coming to view my TF on Saturday, because although yeah, my TF's quite nice. Stephen S. Paul says not ours. They belong to. This is relating to the M5s. Belong to a friend of the big boss. One was bought new by the gentleman, while the second car came from a town called Emeryville, just outside San Diego. What a great story! Fantastic. These rare cars, and you kind of get to know some of the history in your vast country. Colin says, if you suckle on a Kit Kat, it has to be a chunky one. Others can last when you're sucking up. Well, this is getting a little bit near for my liking. No, it's fine. Matt had to use up the milk, so thought I'd try the orange Rocky in hot chocolate. Yum. You can't beat chocolate orange. It's a great combination. Simone says, engine question. If anyone wants to answer it, what type of oil should I put in the bores before I turn it? Has not turned in 5 years. Uh, you put things like WD-40 or diesel or what's the BDX stuff? I think I think you can put that in, but there's probably someone with more knowledge than me, knowledge. Babak says you must be way behind. They've had Fanny bloody ages. I am that far behind. I will catch up. It's when we get more into the autumn and it's darker evenings, then I will certainly be watching more YouTube again. Pingu answers Simone by saying diesel. Simon says to me directly, highlighting my name to make sure I read this comment out. Your TF has to sell. It's straight as fudge, great spec, and looks spot on. Thank you very much. Colin says, Beardman, I got asked this recently, but I'd like to hear your opinion. If you could only drive one Rover, MG Rover, for the rest of your life, what would it be? Ooh. Do you know, I've kind of got really stuck in the last couple of years, and I have to say the best drive for me is the ZT 190 Saloon. I think I've driven all the petrol ZTs, and that is my favourite by a long shot. If I've driven the BRM or the Streetwise or anything else, and then I've got back on in my 190, I'm like, this is lovely. Yeah, for me, and I'm saying that a lot at the moment because that car, I love that car. And it's the one I didn't think I would keep, but I will now keep it because for me the 190 is the best. Yeah, my two favorite drives in the last 2 years, my own 190 and the Connie SE automatic 2.5 litre 75 that I took out back in November, the one belonging to Dan. Yeah. So I think it'd be probably the ZT190 'cause it's a bit sportier, but yeah, just a 2.5, 180, 190 brake horsepower. That would be, yeah, I think where it's at. I've driven pretty much all of them. The only one I've not driven is the X Power SP SV and SVR. Not driven one of them, but um they're not um they're not cars that can do everything. It's 190, it's quick, but it's comfortable. You can do a long cruise. You can go drive down to Cornwall or Scotland in it, but also you can have a hoon around the lanes and get a thrill out of it. So it's all round, and that's what a car is for me. Um, where did we get to? But there's my opinion, and anyone else, share your opinion as well. I am conscious of time because I want to finish fairly promptly because I've got another early start tomorrow. Simone Diesel, drain it carefully. Matt says a Rover a P4, uh, which is interesting. So the Auntie Rover. Dinosaur Dad says, "What about Luke Skywalker? Surely he'd drive a streetwise like him. He started out as a small 25 and ended up becoming the hero." It's very, very philosophical, intelligent way of looking at it. And Colin says, "My man, 190 all day long." Yeah, yeah, they are. They're good. Um, Simon pulls Colin up on something, and Pingu likes Dinosaur Dad's point. Colin says the KV6 are amazing. Shame they are a maintenance nightmare. Should have been chain driven. Yeah, it would have made things easier. Yeah, it's a lot of work to do anything significant on one of them. But yeah, the all round driving experience. Mwah. Um, I would like to take out an 800 with a KV6 to see how that compares, and an 800 with a Honda V6 as well, which I'm hopefully going to organise. But yeah, I don't know of anyone with a KV6 800. So that would be an interesting experience. And I'd like to drive a 2-litre KV6 as well to see how it compares. Simon says, I said the MGSV wouldn't be my choice, even though it's not one I've driven. But that would be Simon's choice to drive for the rest of his life. Colin Saturn in the XPSV, but not had a drive of one yet. And then Stephen's little titbit, it's his last but not least titbit of the evening to moisten our petrol-headed appetites and imaginations. At last, and last but not least, we have a 1991 316i Tourer in dark blue. Basic 316i wagon with no roof rack, 4-cylinder, 5-speed box, all paperwork, bought at auction for $500 with just 3 owners. So it's probably one of the least desirable models. I don't know why the 316, but $500 for a car like that, 3 owners is nothing. All the paperwork, amazing. And that car's floating around there. And I think I know I saw a 325 Tourer, which obviously they command a little bit more money, but they're getting these E30s are getting crazy money now. And I'm thinking 1991 is still an E30, isn't it? Especially in a Tourer. What another great story from Stephen S. Paul. Contrasting that, Norman Butler says, "I once owned a Rover 100. Someone told me it was a Metro, but it defo said 100 on it. Not like they'd ever just rebadge it. The fools." So Norman getting very confused there about a Rover 100 being a Metro. Colin says 2-litre KV6 is the smoothest 75 experience you'll have, especially auto. I will try and put that to the test. And Bad Books asks Norman Stanley Butler what he drives these days. Pingy would be happy to drive Penny for life. I would. I'd imagine you'd be quite tired though, Pingy, frequently. Um, Simone needs a roof rack for TC, and underscore needs a roof tent. Um, Norman gets back to Mark Bad Books. I will read this out because Norman's comments are nuggets. These days, I'm trying not to get too involved with driving. I'm a lot happier under a car than in a car. Um, some of the cars would possibly not agree with that. So the comments have cleared. Yeah, so Simon, we will produce some more photographs for you and educate you as to Penny's loveliness at some point. But no, I've got an early start tomorrow. I'm going to plan my weeks better so I can have a bit more time on a Wednesday evening to do these live streams over a little bit longer. I know Boat is at 11 o'clock, and we don't want to cut into that. But I thank you for your attention. If you haven't already smashed the like button, then please smash it now. It's greatly appreciated. Yeah, I'm gonna go off to my bed. Thank you for your comments, insight, attention, and wonderfulness. And I will see you again next week, if not before. Goodbye.